Hello, today is December 20th, just 5 short days from Christmas, and I want to come with an educational topic this week since there's less student loan news, but I did want to say that a court date has been settled in the Supreme Court to hear the student loan case. It's set for February 28th, and so that date has been set, and we're eager to see what the court decides. In the meantime, I wanted to share some information about just a financial topic. This time I want to talk about medical debt because there is approximately 88 billion dollars worth of medical debt on people's credit. If you think about it, that's about 50% of student loan debt, almost as big as credit card debt on people's credit. So I want to talk a little bit about that this evening because not only is medical debt a serious problem, but there has been some news by the Biden administration that has basically ordered credit bureaus to delete medical debt collections from people's credit. So I want to talk a little bit about that because I spoke to an underwriter today who told me that the biggest reason that she saw outside of obviously student debt and high debt to income is people who couldn't close a lot due to having too many collections. And when you have too much money in collections, a lender can't close with a borrower until they pay off those collections. So for example, if you have over $5,000 in collections, it's basically you have to pay down collections in order to close on a mortgage. And that was a huge barrier for people to close because they have to come up with all this closing cost money. And then it turns out they find out that they have to pay on their medical collections or whatever, credit card collections, whatever debt may have gone into collections. So I want to talk a little bit about collections and medical debt specifically because of something that was released by the Biden administration on July 1st. Medical debt is no longer going to hurt your credit. So that's interesting. I don't know. Sometimes these news articles, I don't know if it's entirely not going to hurt, but basically they're sharing that if $500 of medical collections, you're ordered to pay under $500, that it shouldn't even be on the credit report. So it says here that if you've paid your medical debt in full and the debt is still on your credit report as a negative mark, this negative mark will have to be removed, which is great because why should that be a negative mark if you've paid it, right? I know a lot of people go to a lot of credit repair companies to basically get negative marks deleted. But if you paid the collections, I don't understand why should the credit bureau still have it on there. I totally agree. This should have been addressed a long time ago. Especially if you paid it, a negative mark on your credit should no longer be there. And the Biden administration came out and said as of July 1, that negative mark should not be there. So that's really, really great because there's 88 billion of it, and a lot of consumers have negative marks because of medical debt that had gone to collections, right? So many times hospital mails a bill somewhere, you move, you don't see the bill. And sometimes people unintentionally don't pay co-pays or whatever, and then it ends up getting to collections because it's not like when you check out of the hospital, you're sitting there at a cashier or something, to pay it. So much ends up in collections, even if people aren't intending for it to go to collections, and it dings people negatively, and then they go find out when they buy a house. So we highly recommend people go to freecreditreport.com, and download their credit report at least on an annual basis, right? So that things like this aren't a surprise and you find out when you're now trying to close on a home, right? So, medical debt causes stress, and stress like high blood pressure, which leads to more medical debt. Oh my gosh, of course, so ironic, right? So as of July 1, medical debt that's in collections will no longer be included on consumers' credit reports. Paid medical debt. Um, you'll have more time on unpaid medical debt for it to be reported on the credit report. Unpaid medical debt that is currently in collections for 1 year will be reported on medical reports. On credit reports. And this is increased from 6 months. So basically, you have a year to pay off any medical bills before it's reported to the credit bureau. Starting the first half of 2023, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion will no longer include medical debt in collections under $500 on their credit report. That's what I was talking about earlier. So all three of those stipulations, that's a good win for the majority of Americans because it's negatively impacting people's credit and their ability to buy a home or do anything like to move forward with their life, which is so unfortunate. So it says here that in health.com survey, all living generations indicated their medical debt has harmed their credit score, with millennials being the highest, 52%, because our generation is constantly underinsured. And when you're underinsured or uninsured, you have one little accident or one little mishap and you're in the hospital and you get this huge bill that is impossible to pay. So we're being dinged and we're being collected on. So I just wanted to share a little bit of an announcement on that, since debt in collections impacts, even if it doesn't impact your credit such that you have horrible credit and you can't buy a house, but if you have collections, it will be something that will need to be addressed before you can close on a house. So I just wanted to talk about that a little too, because I do know that people care about their credit score, credit health. Today I was reading an article about how people apply for a mortgage, get a mortgage, and their credit score decreases temporarily in the amount of time it takes to build up the credit over time. With FHA borrowers getting the largest credit hit because they tend to have higher debt to income ratios in order to close on the FHA mortgage, because an FHA mortgage allows a higher debt to income. So I thought that was all interesting. I wanted to share that. And of course, I wanted to share the whole information about medical debt as an educational topic this week. Let's see. Okay, between 2018 and 2020, this is also what I wanted to share. More than a quarter of the nation's largest hospital and healthcare systems pursued nearly 39,000 legal actions regarding consumer medical debt. That's interesting. So, yeah, hospitals want to get paid, and so they sue consumers. And when you this is some advice that's given: when you get a bill, notify the hospital or the clinic that you've received the bill. Declare the provider that there's a potential mistake on the bill. That's if there is mistake, and a lot of times medical bills contain errors. So if there are errors and you're charged unnecessarily, or if you don't understand the bill and you're charged for services you didn't get, it's important to rectify it, because if you just say, hey, I'm not going to pay it, well, it's going to end up in collections, harming your credit score, So the thing is, this Biden announcement doesn't eliminate medical debt, and it doesn't eliminate all medical debt on the credit report, but of course, it extends the time for people to pay, it extends the time for people to resolve anything in collections. And it also, it does have a under $500 amount that will not be on the credit report. So that can help consumers with lower bills. Okay. So anyways, just wanted to share that news. I'm very excited for my next video as well. I just wanted to share this. I will be talking about credit health, financial stress, and what are indicators that could help more people close, or if somebody gets denied, what are subsequent quick fixes that consumers are doing in order to close. That's going to be my next video, so stay tuned. If that topic interests you at all, please subscribe, please like, and please share this information. Do not be selfish with topics that are educational for anybody that can be impacted. 52% of millennials, so it's a big percentage. If there is anything, of course, in regards to student loans, any student loan questions or student loan news that you would like me to talk about or questions, please comment in the comments. We try to answer all our comments, answer all the questions, and of course, share, like, and subscribe if you liked. Have a great evening and rest of your week.